Today we're at in the beautiful Garfield neighborhood in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where Assemble is located.
And Assemble is a community space for arts and technology. And today we have Evelyn.
Woo! Welcome, Evelyn.
Woo!
Hi.
How's it going today?
Good. It's really good to be here.
Good. It's good to see you.
So sometimes I get nervous when I'm around people. Would you mind if I knit while I talk to you?
That is perfectly okay.
I swear I'll pay attention at the same
That's
time.
okay.
I really love your outfit, Evelyn.
Yeah,
Thank
you look
you.
fabulous.
I love to dress in bright colors that make me happy.
Where'd you get the jumpsuit from?
I got the jumpsuit from Workshop, just down the street, right next door to where we are here at Assemble.
Oh,
They have some really cool stuff, yeah.
if no one's been to Workshop, you should check it out if you can.
Should definitely
It's
check
really
them out.
great.
I am actually making some masks for them right now for them to sell. So they are really cool, all the masks that they sell, or most of them are made by local makers. So if you go buy a mask from Workshop, maybe you'll get one from me.
Wow.
Go
that's
get
so
your
cool.
mask.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Shout out Workshop Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we
Yes,
love
yes.
them.
Yeah, so that already kind of like leads us into our first question. What are you passionate about?
I am passionate about a lot of stuff. One of the things I'm most passionate about is making stuff with my hands. So it's really cool that we can have so much stuff on the computer nowadays, but I know that when I spend all day on these Zoom meetings like we do now, I can get kind of, like, I can feel kind of fuzzy. And so making something with my hands really helps me to feel in my body, in the space, and then I get to wear it around the time. So I am a knitwear creator. I like to knit a lot. I also do some hand sewing, but really right now what I'm most passionate about is knitting.
And what are you knitting right now?
I'm making a sock. So I actually started this last night. So you know how sometimes, we're all human beings, so this happens sometimes. You'll have kind of a bad day.
Yeah.
And I was having kind of a bad day yesterday. Not for any real reason. It just kind of happened. And I started to have these thoughts in my head like, you're not good at anything. You know, maybe you're not affecting the world. You're not making the world a better place. You don't matter because there's so many people and there's so much happening. So why do this when I'm stressed out? I sat down and I started to make a sock. And it was really hard to have those thoughts about I'm not good at anything and I can't contribute to the world when I'm holding a thing I literally made in my hands. So you can see this sock did not exist last night. But because of just my hands and my time, it now is a thing. And that's really exciting to me.
That's
And
beautiful.
you'll get to wear it someday too.
I do, yeah. That's one of the coolest things is a lot of the clothes that we buy, we don't really know where they come from. Especially nowadays. I mean, we don't even know where the fabric comes from. We don't even know, did it come from an animal? Did it come from a plant? You know, did it come from a machine? We don't really know a lot of the time. This is really cool because I know exactly where this sock came from. It came from my hands. And sometimes you can get really into it and understand where the yarn came from. Did it come from a sheep? Did it come from a local sheep? And that can be really cool because it has a connection to it. And there's all this, it's called fast fashion now, which means it's really easy to get clothes and get new clothes and throw them away and get other new clothes all the time, which makes sense because fashions change all the time and people want to stay hip and cool. And with slow fashion, you take more time to create what you're doing. You put more thought into it. You kind of put your heart into it. You put all this time and blood and sweat and tears. And when you have it, you don't want to throw it away as fast. So that's really cool that you can have maybe not as much stuff, but the stuff you do have is more important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love that answer. I would be really passionate about the stuff that I throw on if I knew that I made it or I put time and effort into it.
Yeah, if I knew what sheep I got it from.
Yeah. It's also really great to make stuff not just for yourself, but for other people. Like there's a lot of holidays coming up, and I'm making a lot of scarves and hats and little plushie toys for the people I love. And part of it's because I know they won't have anything else like it because it's me. They can't buy it from a store. And two, like maybe when they wear this scarf, they'll think of me and they can know all the hours I put into it. And that's really special.
It is. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, or do you want me to
Why don't you
fire away?
fire a question? You know, what do you got?
Awesome. So I don't know what was going on today whenever I was thinking of questions, but I must have been really hungry because I was thinking about more food-related questions.
Yeah.
So what is probably like the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Oh, I really love food, and I really love food from all over the world. So there's no, like, type of food. I was really lucky growing up. I've been exposed to a lot of different kinds of food. So most of them haven't seemed weird to me, except one of them was a little strange for me, you know. And I used to work at a toy store in New York City called FAO Schwartz. It was pretty famous. I didn't work there very long. But I didn't work with, like, the dolls and the toys and the stuffed animals and the magic kits. I worked at a stand where we had bugs and skeletons and, like, sciencey stuff like that, because I'm really passionate about science, too. And we used to have these little boxes of flavored crickets for sale, and we would eat them to try and get the kids excited about it. And I didn't want to do it, but I was being paid to do it, so I had to try it. And they had, like, a cheesy Dorito dust on them.
Ooh.
They were very crunchy.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that was odd.
Was it good?
I didn't like it. I liked the worms. They had these little mealworms. Those were better.
Whoa.
The crickets I didn't like because sometimes the legs would get stuck in my teeth, and I didn't like that.
You had to eat it twice.
How many crickets and worms do you think you've eaten?
Oh my gosh. A lot. A lot. I haven't ever really thought about it, but I would go at least 30, which isn't
30, that's
that
a big
many,
number.
but it's like more than I would have liked to have eaten. Yeah.
That's like a great fun fact.
I've eaten about 30
How many
bugs,
crickets
yeah.
have you eaten? Yeah. Well, some cultures around the world, they love to eat crickets, but
That's true.
not the culture I came from, so I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with that.
It's a form of nutrition.
They're very, very high in protein.
Yeah.
So on the opposite end of that question, if you could build your like dream dessert bar, what would be in that dessert bar?
Oh, and it would just be for me, for no one else?
Just for you.
Just for you.
Oh, this is really good for me because my taste in dessert isn't weird, but it's very specific. So something that people find weird about me is I don't really like chocolate very much. It's not my favorite. I know some people are going to get mad at me if I say that, but I really don't like chocolate that much. So I would have kind of the more sweet things, less chocolatey, more like Skittles and Starbursts and Airheads and stuff like that. I'm not sure I'd
Candy
want it
bar.
on my... So if I were making like an ice cream sundae or like a frozen yogurt thing, I would definitely put cookie dough on it. I know you're not supposed to eat raw cookie dough because there's raw eggs in it, but I do all the time, and I'm still fine, so don't do that, kids. But cookie dough for sure. And I know I just said I don't like chocolate chips, or I don't like chocolate, but I do really love Reese's peanut butter cups. I would put those on. And like caramel. That would be really good.
Yes.
And
Sounds
Oreos
like a
too.
good Sunday.
That's actually a lot of chocolate considering I just said I don't like chocolate. But
Yeah.
no chocolate syrup, no chocolate ice
Yeah.
cream.
Those
nothing
are
like
different tasting chocolates.
that. I agree. I completely agree. Thank you for understanding.
Yeah.
Is there a ice cream flavor?
My favorite ice cream in the world is vanilla ice cream with Oreos in it. Not cookies and cream. You have to get separate vanilla ice cream and separate Oreos and put them in. And the best ice cream in the world, actually you're from the South, so you might know. Do they have a Bluebell where you're from?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Bluebell's so
I
good.
miss it so much. They don't have it here in
Wow.
Pittsburgh, and I used to live in Arizona, and I would get vanilla Bluebell and put Oreos in it every day, and it was so
Dang.
good.
That sounds
That brings
amazing.
back memories.
I'm sorry I reminded you of it.
Man. Yeah, Bluebell's so good. Well, thanks for sharing all that with
We
this.
appreciate it.
Of course, thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, let's go check out what Evelyn has in store for us today. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Fun.
I don't know why, but that's been like the thing.
Hi again, everyone. So today we are going to be doing some yarn bombing. So yarn bombing is a type of street art that uses yarn. And a lot of people use knitting or crochet or other types of fabric creation to make kind of decorations to go outside. And right now it's kind of cold and gloomy and all the flowers are dead and the leaves are falling off the trees. So I thought it'd be really nice if we could use some of the yarn that we have here at Assemble to make some joy that we can put outside and put some color back in our city. So I'm going to teach you how to do a couple different things to help build an arsenal of tools that you can use to create art around your very own neighborhood. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a French knitting machine just using a toilet paper roll, 4 popsicle sticks, some tape, and some yarn. So you should have these in your kits. So this is a very easy way to get into knitting. I like to do knitting for most of my art, but it's kind of hard to do. It takes a lot of practice. So if you're interested in knitting, but you're not really sure where to start, this is a great way to get started. So here's what you're going to do first. You're going to take your toilet paper roll, and you're going to use your tape. I used pink because pink's my favorite color. I'm sure you couldn't tell. Tape your 4 popsicle sticks around the edge of your toilet paper roll. So we're going to kind of put them so that they're sticking out to the top, all the way around. Like this. And if you need help, you might need to get a grown-up. So you want them to kind of be like north, south, east, and west on a compass, all sticking up. And this is what we're going to use to make our knitting. You're going to put your yarn through the tube, like that. And leave this guy alone for a little bit. Use the yarn who's sticking out of the top to wind it around these 4 popsicle sticks. So hold on to the bottom yarn, get a grown-up if you need help, and we're going to wrap it around these 4 popsicle sticks like this. So we've got it wrapped around all 4. Now we're going to do it again. So we've got it twice. All right? And now what we're going to do is put these loops over the top of these other loops. So watch closely. It can be a little hard at first, so make sure you've tried to be loose about it. But this bottom loop is going to go over top of the top loop there. Just like that. And then we do it all the way around. Awesome. So now we're going to take our yarn and loop it around just like before. So around that way, and that way, and that way. And we're just going to keep doing that over and over. To try and make things that bring us joy and make us happy and bring smiles to people's faces while they're just walking around. So we are going to make some decorations to go with our knitting. We are going to make some tassels and some pom-poms to go on the end of our things. A lot of people have tassels on the ends of scarves. It can make them just a little more fun, a little more decorative. So to make a tassel, you are going to need a piece of cardboard about this big. It can be a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. It's however big you want your tassel to be. You're going to need a pair of scissors, and you're going to need some yarn. So here is what you're going to do. You're going to take your piece of cardboard, and this length here, this short length, this is how long I want my tassel to be. And I'm just going to wrap my yarn around it. So I'm going to hold it right there and wrap it around. And I think I'm going to wrap it around a lot. I want it to be kind of a big bushy tassel. So you're going to wrap it around maybe 20 times, maybe 30 if you want it to be really big. And you're just going to wrap it like this. And you want to keep all your yarn close together just like this. So I'm going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's how big my tassel's going to be. So right at the end of this cardboard where it ends, I'm just going to cut it off. All right, so that's step 1. Next, we have to tie it together at the top so it doesn't all come apart. So take your yarn and cut a piece about 6 to 7 inches long. And you're going to, using your fingers very carefully, sneak it underneath all the yarn you've wrapped. And kind of wiggle it up to the top and tie a knot. Tie it as tight as you can, but you don't want to break the yarn. You just want it to be kind of secure. All right, there's my knot. Now that we've got it tied together, it's not going to come apart. So we can kind of wiggle it off of our cardboard frame. There we go. So we've got our pieces of the yarn that make the knot on top, and then this big loop of yarn underneath it. So it kind of makes a circle because it's not cut at the bottom. So what you're going to do is take your scissors, reach through this kind of donut, and cut. Now you've got a long thing of yarn. Now I'm going to make a tassel with a kind of a ball at the end. I think that looks very pretty. So I'm going to cut another piece of yarn about 6 or 7 inches long. I'm going to lay it out, put my tassel on top of it, and tie it in a knot, just like that. And there you go, you've got a tassel. If you want to make it a little bit neater, I like to trim the bottom of it to make it all the same length. And these can be really fun. If it's Halloween, you can put little googly eyes on one of these. If it's white to make a ghost, you can make them little people. These are really fun to put on the ends of your scarves or your bags. These are good for everything. So I'm going to make a couple more of these, and I'm going to knit up a couple different things that I'm going to use to do my yarn bombing, and then we are all going to go out together and decorate the neighborhood. Okay, so now that we've made all of our supplies and we have all of our yarn, we are going to take what we've made and go use it to decorate the neighborhood. I've already made this little guy here to put on the door, so you can see it takes something kind of metal and industrial, something that maybe was made by a machine, and it gives a little bit of a human touch. So today is a perfect day for it. It's really gray and gloomy. So we are going to cover this kind of cityscape with something that's been made by human hands instead of a machine, and maybe make someone smile when they're walking to work. So come on, let's go make some art.
This is so fun. Look both ways before crossing the street. Cute. Should I zoom in on it?
Yeah, I think he's so cute. There were two eyes, but one of them fell off. Hard to tie knots when your fingers are full.
So cute.
I love it. I have more, but I feel like that's a lot.
Yeah, that's good for a tree.
All right. And I've got this guy back already. Let's get outside of arts and crafts. I feel like they'd like it.
Okay.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Alright, I think that's enough.
Cool. Let's head back.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on Crafternoons. If you go out and decide to decorate your neighborhood with yarn, or it could be anything else, maybe some fabric, whatever you have lying around, please send us a picture. I would love to see what you've created.
Thanks so much for joining us this week for Saturday Crafternoon. We would love to see what you've created. To do so, please share by posting on our Facebook page, tagging us on Instagram at AssemblePGH, or email me at my email, leah@assemblepgh.org. And if you enjoyed this video and want to hear from us again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go.